the #1 newscast in Oklahoma, with Patty Suarez, Roger Cooper, John Snyder Sports, and Oklahoma's #1 meteorologist, Gary England. This is Newsline 9 Late Edition.
Good evening, I'm Mitch Jelniker. Roger is on vacation.
And I'm Patty Suarez. Thanks for joining us. In a complaint filed today, the Labor Department says Airchecks Corporation was in violation of child labor laws when it exploded in June. 3 of the 21 people killed when the fireworks factory blew up were minors. No one under 18 is allowed to work with explosives. Airchecks had employed...
Caused by the Shakota I-40 bomb blast is going to be less than first expected. The Army Corps of Engineers today lowered their damage estimate caused by the explosion of military bombs. Damage to the highway, homes, and businesses around Shakota was expected to run $5 million. Now the Corps says $3 million ought to cover the repairs. Both had been shot several times. That's what state medical examiners are saying tonight about 2 men whose bodies were found near Cushing. 2 men made the grisly discovery yesterday in a remote area of Payne County. Authorities say the bodies may have been there up to 2 weeks. They hope to have the victims identified by tomorrow.
Without bond tonight for the murder of a Frontier City security guard. Gary Wayne Moore is accused of shooting 23-year-old Randy Sanford during a robbery at the amusement park. Moore allegedly shot Sanford once in the chest and fled with more than $16,000 from the cash office. September 19th, police say it was Sanford's first night on the job. State Senator E. Melvin Porter is warning of what he calls a dangerous situation on the city's northeast. Of teenagers gather frequently about midnight in the parking lot of this shopping center. He says it's a scene of drugs and gambling, but there's little the police can do.
Extremely explosive.
Rate of burglaries.
If you don't know your neighbor, then how can you expect for your neighbor to help you when you're watch your home when you're not at home? Again, neighborhood watch. One of the things that it's
sure that any doors that have glass within them have deadbolt locks.
Newsline 9, Late Edition. And still to come on Late Edition, the search for clues in a deadly plane crash.
And for the cause of that West Virginia chemical leak.
Why local firefighters may still sue the city.
And something new to look for as you drive through Nichols Hills. Stay with us.
Has taken steps to control traffic coming through its neighborhoods. As Phil Van Staveren reports, most of the solution is in stop signs and law enforcement.
Well, Tropical Storm Danny is moving in on Louisiana and Alabama. Nelson is next with the weather. He'll check that and our weather as well.
From Port Arthur, Texas to Mobile, Alabama, so the people down there are getting a little nervous.
Is he going to metamorphize?
It was forecast to be a minimal hurricane about 10 or 11 o'clock tomorrow, so there's a possibility of 70, 75 mile an hour winds and gusts to 90 miles an hour. So I hope my father-in-law battens down my house. That's for sure. Let's take a look at our current temperature here in Oklahoma City. 84 degrees. The humidity 63%. Barometer 29.92 and rising. Winds right now out of the south-southeast on the light side at 4 miles per hour. And as mentioned, we'll just take a brief look quickly at Tropical Storm Danny. It's right now located at 24.0 north, 88.1 west, which actually puts the center circulation right about where my hand is moving toward the northwest about 10 to 15 miles per hour. Areas of concern, as mentioned earlier, actually from Port Arthur, Texas to Mobile, Alabama. People begin to sweat just a little bit. Let's take a look at today's high here in Oklahoma City. 96 degrees is...
You said we don't need the rain as much as we... I guess we are catching up, aren't we?
Well, actually, we're about 11 inches above normal.
11 inches above.
Yeah, we've had a lot of rain for August.
We are ahead.
Enough. Stop.
Yes.
Thank you, Nelson.
You're welcome.
Oklahoma farmers may be bringing in less wheat this year. State agriculturists say the 85 harvest should be about 165 million bushels.
There is good news tonight. The government predicts gasoline will average a penny a gallon less this year. The Energy Department also forecasts another 4 cents a gallon decrease in 1986. The department bases its prediction on an expected drop in crude oil price. World Airport next Monday.
We're going to start out here in the morning at about 7 o'clock for Fort Worth Meacham Airport, which is the airport serving the western half of the Fort Worth Dallas Metroplex. That flight will then go through to Austin and San Antonio. arriving in those cities in the 9:30 area. So if people have business appointments in either of those cities, of course they make them.
King says he's featuring an introductory flight from Oklahoma City to Fort Worth at $25 one way until September 15th.
Well, coming up, renewed bloodshed in South Africa.
And the miracle of Flight 123. Those stories next.
Thousands rallied today to condemn South Africa's apartheid system. They also called for U.S. sanctions against the white minority government, sanctions which Congress is expected to pass, sanctions the Reagan administration does not want.
Sentencing for a former OU shortstop.
And it's starting again at high schools all across Oklahoma. John Snyder is next.
So fresh, so light, just right for the summer.
To start the season, I think they'll qualify again for the NCAA basketball tournament. If the Sooners make the NCAA basketball tournament again next March, Oklahoma guard Tim McAllister will not be allowed to play in that first NCAA.
Mercedes-Benz was building sports sedans before there was such a term as sports sedan.
8377. They would appreciate hearing from you.
He weighs just 4 pounds and he doesn't have a name yet. But if Mother Frederick's father, however, has been removed from the family unit, Kaiser said he is just too young and immature to be a good father. So far, he'll just have to cool his heels from a nearby cage.
The father's not allowed. That's
not
nice.
allowed.
Oh, well.
He's only about 16 as in human age. So.
That's right. But he's bigger.
Bigger.
Normal 16-year-old.
Yeah.
And with a face only a mother could love.
That's right.
That's for sure.
Oh, let's take a look at radar real quick. We do have some thunderstorms and showers around Oklahoma that will slowly be creeping into central areas later tonight and through the day tomorrow. No severe weather, but some heavy rains possible in the next several days as we're looking for another cool front to sort of clean us up. Actually clean the act up by moving through central Oklahoma by Thursday right now. It's still going to be somewhat sluggish, warm in southern sections, a little drier in the north.
And there may be a promotion for the tropical depression.
Possibly a hurricane by tomorrow morning. Yes.
Just going to say that. All right. Thank you, Nelson.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you for joining us tonight.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Hairstyles for the Channel 9 News team furnished by Logsdon Hair Designers. Newsline 9 is the #1 rated newscast in Oklahoma.